of the show. And we are going to get into a hot topic today. Okay. There's a lot of hot topics in the world. We'd have to have a dartboard and sort of throw a dart to see what would be the hot topic we want to do today. But I'm going to tell you, we're going to do something special. And I have a guest here with me today who is going to have this conversation with us because we are going to be talking about Substack. Okay. So Substack has actually been around for years and yet it's having a moment, right? We're going to talk about all things Substack today. What is it? Why do people go there? What are they hoping to experience on Substack as a consumer? But also, you as a creator, what might you be wanting to create on Substack? Is it a platform that would be useful for you? And then I'm going to have Sophia here with me, and we're going to both talk about the way that we're using Substack as thought leaders and authors and what the different strategies you might want to think about and the intentions you might want to think about should you choose to be on this platform, which I hope by the end of today you're going to be excited to do. All right. This is going to be the first of many conversations likely that we will have about this platform because just like when Twitter started before it became X, and just like when Instagram really gained popularity, just like when fill in the blank, that this is now a platform that's really kind of exploding. And it's always cool to see when a platform is really coming into its element, what is really going on there? Why are people attracted to it? What can we learn? And most importantly for you, how can you take what is happening on Substack and what are the strategies that are working in 2026, some do's and don'ts? And this is really a part one of an ongoing conversation. Should you feel interested in continuing it, right? We'll get some feedback. All right. I know many of you are, if not all of you, are probably using Substack. You're creating on Substack. You're connecting and consuming. So maybe those of you that are in our live audience today can just tell us in the chat if you are a consumer on Substack, you can write consume. If you are a creator on Substack, meaning you have your own Substack and you're publishing on that platform, you can put creator. And if you're both, you could put CNC, right? You both create and consume. I'm a CNC person. And hopefully, if you're on there with your own account, you're also being a good literary citizen and supporting other people on Substack as well. So, yeah. And if you're coming in new, this is a fun day to open up your mind to what's possible. What's all the hype, right? We're going to call this something like, what's the hype about Substack? Why is everyone talking about it, even though it's been around for years? So you'll meet Sophia. Those of you that don't know Sophia, one of our incredible thought leader members here, and have had the pleasure of working with Sophia in Thought Leader Academy. And Sophia, you're in Gamma Group with us. You're in the Monetize Your Book Club. We have all kinds of ways we get to play together. You've come to New York in our Women Starting Movements event. So we're going to have a great time today because Sophia was actually an early adopter on Substack. I wasn't as early. I was a last year, just getting started person, although I've been reading some people that I like on Substack for quite some time. So that's what we're up to today. All things, make some jazz hands with me, Substack. Okay. All right. So what we're going to start with right now is I'm going to just bring Sophia, I'm just going to have you kind of up here with me because we'll do this as a dialogue. And I'm going to get you up here. All right. There we go. All right. So everyone, please give a huge warm welcome to Sophia. And we're going to kind of co-pilot today to talking about this. Sophia, I'm going to share just a little bit of context about Substack. And then because you got on Substack earlier than most people, I'm going to have you share a little bit about, just what you originally were doing on Substack. And then we're going to get into what's happening in 2026. So I'm so happy you're here.
Happily. Thank you.
So glad to have you. Okay. So whether you're a seasoned Substacker or you're never heard of the program and you're here to learn about it, what are some of the things you want to know? Substack is a social platform, right? Meaning that it is a place that we can gather and have community. But really, when you think about the format, I'm going to show you my Substack on screen, and maybe Sophia, you'll show us yours as well, so people can come and and you can follow Sophia, and you can subscribe to Sophia, subscribe to mine. And that way you can see kind of what's going on, and you'll be able to have some more insights as we have continued conversations. But the thing that is a little bit different about Substack is that it initially really is a place where thought leaders and a lot of writers and people in the book space and people that care about writers and thought leadership in the book space have converged. So if you think about early Twitter, it's almost like a long form early Twitter, like serious thinkers, people who it's less about a, ooh, influencer, look at me, whatever, even though you can do video, audio, written form. You can do all kinds of exciting things on Substack now, but it really had the feeling of blogs. It was almost like a blogiverse, at the beginning. And now it's evolving into a place where just lots and lots of people are coming and bringing their thought leadership and connecting with others, but it still maintains a uniqueness because it's not the quick 90-second 100 characters. It's here for people that like to go deep. And I don't know about any who else are my deep people. I like to go deep. In fact, my thing, if someone says, "What do you dread most besides very scary things in the world, but like of petty things, what I dread most is small talk." It's what I dread most. If someone's like, "Oh, I'm going to invite you to this whatever with people you don't know or a wedding," I start to sort of have hives. I don't want it, don't like it, don't enjoy it. And I like to be deep. I like to have, much more sort of intimate connections with people versus surface level stuff. And so what's exciting is I feel like Substack is the social platform that is the equivalent of people that like to go deep, that like more serious thought, social media for smart people, like in a really like to just be, pejorative about it. All right. So I'll probably get some pushback on that, but I'm just saying. And it's not so corporate like LinkedIn. Like if we were in a ice cream shop and all the social platforms were different flavors, right? Like LinkedIn would have its own flavor, and Instagram would have a flavor, and Facebook would have a flavor, and TikTok would have a flavor, and Substack would have a flavor. And it's deep, it's deeper, it's richer. It's I feel, at least for now, and hopefully it'll stay this way. It really like carve off all the bullshit and all the nonsense and all the just the posturing and the whatever, and let's like bring something important and have a conversation. And sometimes that's humorous and sometimes it's serious. And it's also a platform that is explosive if
Mhm.
you are going to bring a book into the world. You have a book. It is a platform that is explosive for building an audience for your writing and for your thought leadership. So, Sophia, tell us about when you got on and why you got on originally.
Happily, thank you so much for having me on. I was so happy to talk about Substack at Women Starting Movements in
Yeah.
October. I'm so happy to do it again now. So, I first got on in 2022, and I believe the platform started in 2019, and the creators began it as, and they really frame it as this new economic engine for culture, which I love.
Yeah.
So I was hearing about it for a few years, and I had been writing and practicing writing, and I just knew I wanted to step into more consistent practice of sharing online.
Yeah.
So I got on in 2022, and I loved having this 3-year mark recently. And it, like you're saying, Sarah, it's so valuable because it is this new model. It's direct to subscribers directly through the email. So you're not dealing with the pressures of being so
Yes.
attention grabby. You're not dealing with like all the other things that you run into with these algorithm-based models on other
Yes.
social platforms. And that's why you get that more depth and you get to connect exactly with the voices and the speakers and the thought leaders that you want to connect with, and you connect with
Yes.
those creators. And there's also great like collaboration on Substack and just a great network. So I joined it for all that reason. I started out creating like a little design journal once a
Yeah.
month. And then in my second year of writing there, I got into the habit of publishing once a week,
Yeah.
sometimes twice a week. And once a week is what they recommend. That's best for growth and maintaining a nice community.
Hmm.
So yeah, any other questions about the platform? I'm happy to talk about.
Yeah, I love this. So, you got on because you knew it was a platform that spoke to you. You'd been hearing about it for a little bit, right? And then got on in 2022. So, I think that something that we want to distinguish again, keep distinguishing between the other social platforms and Substack, the uniqueness of the feature that when people subscribe, and you can set up free subscriptions, you can have paid subscriptions. We'll get into if you're all interested after today, I want to hear about it. We can put together an entire training with actual strategy and some step by step around this. Absolutely happy to do it. But what I want us to get to today is just what makes it unique and the fact that when people follow you and subscribe, they are going to get your articles, your posts directly into their email inbox. This is huge, 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 huge. There is no other platform that allows you to do it. Instagram, no. Facebook, no. LinkedIn, no. TikTok, no. You don't get that because they want you to stay on their platform. And then you are renting, not owning, as people like to say in the comparison. You're renting your home on Instagram or wherever it is, and you don't own your home. But in Substack, you get to both be on a social platform with all the advantages of that, and you get to own your home. And
Mm.
so that's one of the biggest among many really features that I love about it and that I think make it unique and special. And the fact that, and we'll get into some of these today, just showing our two accounts, Sophia, so that so that people can come and join us. So there are so many other cool things. Like every time you post an article now, Substack will send you clips and links and really great graphics. Those of you using it know this. It'll send you all your social media graphics so you can put it on Instagram and Facebook and over on LinkedIn. And it creates those for you. It creates those for you automatically. Again, no other platform. You're not putting a reel on Instagram and they're like, hey, let's make you a bunch of assets for that. So it's super user friendly and thought leader forward and all that stuff. So Sophia, what we're going to get into today, because there's sort of a how to of Substack, and then there's the actual like thought leadership and why people are using it. And I want to stick to that second part of the conversation today. And then again, if people want to do more how to, you can tell me and we'll do that. And yes, those of you that have questions in our live audience, feel free to write them in the chat. But Sophia, let's talk about what for 2026. Tell us what your intention is on Substack this year.
Okay, I'm so excited. I have been growing my readership on Substack and connecting with people, and I love that. And I've been sharing embodiment practices as a thought leader in the space of especially targeting my teaching towards young people for
Yes.
how to embody self-love, how to embody confidence,
Yeah.
how to kind of get out of the mental anxiety so much and ground down into the body, because that is a huge aspect of my learning and
Yeah.
the way I grew up and learned how to heal. So I've been in your program in TLA writing my first novel, and
Yes.
I'm really excited to basically finish up the draft I'm on now and start serializing excerpts from that into my Substack for paid subscribers, and they'll serve
Yes.
as my beta readers to give me feedback on that novel draft as I keep working through the revisions.
I
And
want
I'm
to
going to be
pause
starting,
right
yeah.
there because this is so great. I want everyone to hear this strategy. Okay. Do you hear like, so let's say like Sophia, you're working on a book and you want to have early readers, you want to get some feedback, but you also want to be publishing, you want to be sharing your work. Okay. So Sophia is going to serialize. So we're going back to Charles Dickens, right? This worked for him. He would serialize his chapters in the newspaper, right? That was how he wrote most of his books and many writers of that time. And you're serialized like you, but for paid subscribers, right? So Sophia does beautiful content around these embodiment practices, self-love, all the things, and people can come and experience that for free, or you can be one of her paid subscribers like I am, and then you can there's additional content, but now you're going to get to read the novel while it's in progress, right? And give feedback and be a beta reader. So that's just one of probably 100 examples of how you could use it as a thought leader and writer in a really strategic way. So Sophia, what else? So you're gonna serialize your
Yes.
novel content and get beta readers for your paid inner circle people. Okay.
My paid inner circle, my most trusted people. I love that. I'm continuing with weekly posts about, maybe embodiment practices that have come up recently for me, and I'm sharing with an audience. Like this week, I'm sharing um, a practice for reducing time-related stress. I'm
Hmm.
often talking about emotional freedom technique and other
Yeah.
neuroscience techniques. Neurofeedback was so transformative to me.
Yes.
I've written about that. And what I've done in the past a few times is hosted events, invited people through Substack to attend like a vision casting session in December to vision cast for the new year.
Yep.
And I believe in March, I'll be hosting an event right prior to the spring equinox to kind of prepare people for,
Mhm.
okay, it's end of quarter one. Let's check in on our
Yes.
goal. Let's see how we're embodying. Are you actually like taking aligned action towards your
Mhm.
goals? So they'll check in for the spring equinox. And then what I typically do is I'll share a recap, but the replay video is under a paywall also for paid subscribers. So if
Yes.
people actually want to access that whole entire replay, that's paywalled.
Yep. This is huge. So some of you are asking in our audience, you're saying, okay, how do you, what are the ideas if you have a book? So Sophia's giving you a roadmap for how you might want to do this to build an audience, get feedback from early readers, share your work, continue growing your thought leadership, being generous. So you're getting the free and the paid version. Now, if you are doing a hybrid or self-published book process, if that's your goal, you can do the serialized early release of your chapters. Those of you doing traditional publishing, there depending on your publisher, you may not be able to do that because if it's considered previously published work, then you wouldn't be able to do that. So I know we had a question about that in the chat. My next book that's coming out this year in October is traditionally published, right? So I am not serializing, I'm not releasing any of the content of the book, but I can show you all what I am doing to build an audience. So Sophia and I are both we're both using Substack this year to build audiences for upcoming books. And we're going to do that in different ways. Sophia is going to focus on serializing, building the audience for her paid subscribers. I am focusing on the download project. I'm creating a movement around the book that I'm inviting people to participate in. They can do it for free in the free level, or they can come. They'll have other options to be like in our Gamma group that many of you are in and other things to do the book, not read the book early, right? So it just depends on what if you're going traditional publishing or self or hybrid. Those of you publishing with Thought Leader Academy Publishing, you are able to serialize ahead of time if you want to, right? It just depends on which path we take. So these are really good questions. So, Sophia, what anything else you want people to know about how you're excited to use the platform this year?
So when I first joined in 2022, I was most drawn in by the direct to subscriber model, the emails.
Yeah,
They've always done that. And they had some integrations, some great like audio. You can do a read aloud, you can record your voice. And
yeah.
now there's also an app. There's been an app for years. So if you are someone like me who maybe you're subscribed to a lot of publications, I go on my walks and I click the little read aloud button and I can just listen to that. It's like a AI generated voice.
Yes.
That will read to you the post, which is nice. And I'm most
I want to
excited
pause
about.
there for everyone too.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
listen to these features. Like you're just
Yeah.
so the Substack will let you record. So it's Sophia's
Mhm.
lets it know her voice. And now someone if they let's say they're in the car, they're on the go, they're walking their dog, they don't want to sit and read her article. They can listen to her speak the article, but not taking Sophia's time to record that audio. It's done automatically, right? Through the AI. So tell people more about that. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
To be specific, if if it's me reading aloud, I do have to record that audio reading the post, and that's a great option. Sometimes,
Okay.
often I don't, and sometimes, and that is just you have a selection of like four voices in your settings. You could pick like
Got it.
American, British, and
Yep.
there's these kind of generated voices, which are great, and they'll try to sound close to you. And
Got it.
that's an awesome tool. So I love those audio tools because the data I've read on Substack shows that people who use audio tools grow 2.5 times faster than publications that don't. So I definitely
It's really
encourage,
important, everybody.
yeah,
It's huge
turn
because
on
I
audio.
didn't activate that yet. And I can see the difference between my colleagues that do and that I didn't. So we will be doing that. So you can record it yourself if you want it to
Yeah.
be 100% you delivering the material, or you can use the AI generated, pick one of four voices, and it will narrate what you've written for people.
Yes, and what I've started doing is integrating video as well. So
Hmm.
you can bring in graphics. There's a tool, there's an integration where you can auto-generate graphics. I also used to be a photographer, so I still love to use
Yeah.
all my original photography on my
Yeah.
page. And it's kind of become my own like Pinterest board and my
Right.
own beautiful website. But I'm growing on YouTube this year as well. So what I've started doing is reading aloud my Substack posts, not just for the read aloud function, but doing a YouTube video, then integrating that into my post. So people
There
can
you
either read the post
go.
or watch it. Yeah.
There you go. Because Substack and YouTube are my two personal favorite platforms in
Mhm.
terms of where I go to consume and create the most. So good, Sophia. Let's take a look at your page to show everyone so
Yeah,
they can see what this looks like. Okay. So you can
definitely.
all actually see it. And then, Sophia, can you show us in your page where someone would activate their voice function, like if they want to include the audio feature?
Definitely. Are you guys seeing my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. This is my homepage. You have different options for setting this up. I think I chose like magazine. There's also grid down here. It'll list more posts. I
Mhm.
have 3 years worth of posts back here. But this is what I've posted lately, a lot of like Valentine's Day content. So you would like to see the settings for audio,
Yeah, just since we had a
right?
question about that, and since
Perfect.
since the stats are that 2.5% faster growth, I think we all want that. It's a gorgeous page,
Yes.
as people are. Isn't that beautiful? You can see, so you can set it up like a magazine, like Sophia's saying, if you were more visual and you're like Sophia and you do your own photography, or I'll show you on my page where I'm really focusing on the writing side of, focusing on that piece, and we'll see. Okay.
Hmm.
So we're
So
looking here. Yep.
I'll show you. So basically, this is the dashboard. And when I was back on the website page, you just go over to your profile here and you can
Mm-hmm.
press dashboard, and this will take you into your dashboard as the author where you can edit everything and
Yep.
see your posts and go down to settings here in the bottom left corner. And then you can scroll things if you want, but there's an easy search function everywhere. So you can type in audio. Whoops. There's no results for audio, but I know that there is Command
Yeah.
F, audio. Um, it might be called read aloud. There it is. So down in the branding section, the read aloud voice, I
Hmm.
chose Cora, and you can listen to these
Yeah.
um, voice options. So you see that there, and this is the same place where you turn on the read aloud voice. And it's a great function. I definitely recommend turning on the read aloud function or
Yep.
recording your own. Do you want me to show how to record and insert your own audio into posts, or would you
Yeah,
like me
maybe just since we're here and since we had that question,
to?
and yeah, I think that's great. Just give us, so this is just a little step for those of
Sure,
you that want to try it.
definitely. So here's all my posts. Let's say, for example, if I am going to record an audio for this
Yes.
that's going out this week, how I trained my nervous system to trust divine timing. At the top, there's these integration buttons. So
Mm-hmm.
an image, insert audio, insert video. You can also just click and drag from your desktop.
Mm-hmm.
But for the audio function, you could do voiceover directly through the app or audio embed, where if you recorded it on voice memos on your
Yep.
desktop or phone, you just drop the file in there. So voiceover and can record right from here. That's awesome.
Amazing, everyone. Do you
Yeah.
so how cool? So if you like using your own voice and you want to read it, you'll do that way. And if you want to, again, in your settings under branding, you can pick one of the pre-selected generated voices if you prefer.
Mm.
And you can also, again, record it in a memo or record it directly on the Substack app. Isn't that, yeah, aren't these great, everybody? I know we're loving
I'm just
loving
trying
your
to find
Substack.
one that has a video
Yeah,
where
maybe
I'm at
show us a
the top. There
video.
we go.
Great.
So it's directly embedded. This will link to my YouTube channel, but
Yep.
also it's basically covering the whole post at the very top. And people do love to hear your voice. So whether you're doing a video or an audio
Yes.
embed, people love to connect with your voice that way. So I think that's great. But if you don't have the time, like sometimes I just do a published article
Yeah.
and it's all good.
Sophia, do you record this publish on YouTube first and then import the link up there in those links? Is that how you've been doing it? So then
I
again,
did
everyone,
start
this
doing
is
that.
another strategy. Sophia's building a YouTube audience at the same time as she's building her Substack. And then the Substack people also get it to their email, which is
Yes.
huge.
Yes. So previously, and when I helped you get on Substack, I believe in November and
Yeah.
December, I was at that time recording videos, uploading them through Substack, and then they have a button where you can press auto upload to YouTube, and I was doing that. But I learned actually that then that doesn't serve the YouTube algorithm quite as
Right.
well as directly uploading to YouTube. So if you want to
Yep.
grow on YouTube, directly upload to YouTube, then link it in your Substack, and that
Yeah.
works well.
That's what I was, that's what I'm recommending to people at this point. Just again, as Sophia said, we're always learning. This is going to keep evolving. That's why this is one of a whole like series of conversations that we
Mhm.
can have about it this year. So Sophia, thank you so much for sharing that. It's such a beautiful page. So I wanted you all to see Sophia's gorgeous photography, the magazine layout, obviously step into love. We feel the love through the images, through the photography, through the words, through your beautiful your little hello with a heart around it. Yeah, so great. And that's your about page, right? Yeah,
Yes,
perfect.
that's also very important. The branding is important for making everything cohesive, but I always tell people you can get started and work on your branding as you're going, which is fun.
Yes. And then how about the podcast feature, just since we're up there in that toolbar? You can link a podcast or a podcast you're on. Is that
Yes.
right? Yeah.
So this is my Substack podcast. Like that's another type of post that you can
Right?
create directly in, and it auto uploads to YouTube. But again, now I'm doing it in a different way.
Yes.
And haven't done a podcast since December, but this is another great tool. People can toggle back and listen to former podcasts if they want.
So everyone take this in. People can consume your podcast, your YouTube channel, they're getting it to their email. It'll do the audio for you if you need to do the audio for you. You're going to have these different options for connecting with people, cross promoting, bringing people kind of cross pollinating on your platforms. So you're growing audiences in multiple ways. The biggest like bane of people's, thought leadership is often, how do I get more visible? How do I
Mhm.
grow an audience? How do I develop my platform, right? So Karen, the whole conversation about how to get subscribers, right? That's a whole nother episode. That's what I mean. This is going to have to be a series, an ongoing conversation. But I will tell you this, anyone, if you subscribe to my Substack, and I'll show you ours next. If you subscribe to it, I'll do a special training, like a more hands-on, like how to, like more in-depth than we can cover here on the show. And I will absolutely help you guys as a thanks for coming on, just being a free subscriber on our channel. So that's awesome. Sophia, anything else here before we show them like a not so pretty one? Mine
No,
is less
yours is
aesthetically.
beautiful.
I
It's
like it.
gorgeous. I
It's
just wanted
doing
to
what it's
wrap
supposed to
up.
do.
It's perfect. It's we go through evolutions with it. Like mine
Yeah.
starting out, it's so different now, and it's so fun to see the changes over time. I just wanted to wrap up on what you were saying, the types of content, because
Yes.
Substack is this like all-in-one tool. I think of it as like the
Yeah.
Swiss Army knife of
Right.
social media. And so here on the side, I'm just showing in the settings, you see the content pillars and emails, like those articles and posts that goes out. That's the main thing I do. You also have some community functions. There's a chat. You can turn on a chat. I haven't turned on my chat
Mm,
yet, but that might be a future thing. You can do live videos through Substack now. That's a recent integration that's so important.
yes.
People love it because then they also have a tool that will splice out like maybe little clips of your lives for you. So then you're not going in and editing videos and making live clips from your.
Right.
Then there's the podcast, and there's sections if you want to create more sections in your website, for example. But I just have the three to keep it
Yep.
simple. But the podcast is can be linked with like Apple Podcasts,
Mhm.
Spotify, all the platforms. So it's just fully integrated tool, and that's why I love it.
Incredible. I mean, truly, if someone said, what is our wish list, which they probably did, do a focus group of like, what do we wish a social media could be? I think this would have come up on a lot of ours. And you guys who are here in the live audience, if you want to check the link I just shared to get to our Substack, you can use that there. And then, team, if you'll make sure this is in the show notes and on all the, because I know those of you on YouTube right now and Instagram and Facebook, we'll get that out to you. Okay, so Sophia showed us so many incredible things. I'm just going going to I'm going to show you a quick tour of how we're setting ours up. And then that way you can kind of just, get a sense of, what the different ones can look like and feel like, right? So when I originally started at the very end of this past year thinking about doing Substack, I was going to treat it as just a way to do behind the scenes of the download book. I'm only talking about that. That's really what I'm focused on. And what I realized is that I love the platform so much more than I imagined I would, that I want to really be just doing my thought leadership there along with the book updates, because book updates are fine, but that's only interesting to a certain number of people, and there are other bigger messages around the movement of the book. So here's what we've been doing on Substack. So this is an example of one of my articles, right? This is the one I put out on just last week, on Friday. Okay, so just to show you that it can feel this is the more blog format, right? And you will have your title and subtitle. There's the invitation. We offer free subscriptions where people can read all the articles. I'm not paywalling those articles right now. And then we do have, again, the opportunity for people to come and join our Gamma group if they want to like do the brain trainings, they want to stimulate their creativity, be in the community. So you can have a photo, you can have your article here. But what's been so fun and exciting is all of the dialoguing that you can do with people. So I just wanted to show that feature since Sophia took us through so many of the other really awesome platform features. Just think of the connections that you can make with people where you're actually going back and forth instead of, a DM. It's right there with your piece. So it's kind of like the whole conversation about this piece is going on here in the comments. And then I could go to another post, and then I can go down and have the conversation with people on this particular this topic, and we had a lot of great and are still getting a lot of conversation around this one. Okay, so it's really awesome in terms of meeting people and going member deeper. It's not a quick little DM. It's like we can have look at some of these. People are really pouring their heart out and sharing some powerful things, and so it's a way to have really, again, authentic, more in-depth connection with people around topics that interest them. And it's a great thing for all of us we know our book, we know our thought leadership, but what are the little tiny nuanced elements of our topic that are really catching fire? Because when you can see what people want more of, that's really important for your marketing, for your messaging, for the way you're going to approach the way you talk about your book in general, the positioning and things. So I just wanted to show you all that the community and connection and the interaction to me has been my favorite of any platform, right? Because a lot of times on YouTube, people are, they're using the comments to get resources and links, but it's not necessarily really like that community feeling. Okay. And so I thought that's been really fun for us. What else do I want to say about it? Okay, I'll just say this. Sophia showed me how to set up a post, publish it, create it. If I can do it, anyone can do it. Okay, this is not hard because I'm not a coder. I don't know how to do anything really super technical. I'm not a graphic artist. And so having something really easy and really that looks good. I mean, I feel like the way that you can present with the fonts can make it look very upscale, right? If you're, again, in that thought leader space, I think they do a beautiful job with just presentation. So I just wanted to show you all an example of how am I using it? I'm using it to build community and a movement behind the Download Project. Soon we'll be unveiling the opportunity for everyone to participate. We are going to aim to be the most in-depth and comprehensive study of the science of miracles that's been done so far. That's going to be another like initiative that happens this year. And so that's going to happen on Substack. That's where that's going to happen, is on Substack. And so maybe those of you already on it, maybe you learned something today that will help you try a new feature like activating the audio or using more embed to YouTube and dialogue. If you're not on Substack yet, maybe this inspires you to see if it's a place where you want to create community and connection. And I think the really important thing, right? The really important thing is to say, okay, what are my intentions here? Do I want to focus more on creating community, interaction, getting the word out about my things, and then follow people that you admire and respect so that you can, number one, watch what they're doing because they might have some great moves, some strategies for you. But also, the more we are generous with each other, I call this being a good literary citizen, supporting each other's books, supporting each other's. I subscribe and do paid subscription to other leaders that I admire and respect because I want to support their work. Just like you might be a Patreon of someone's podcast or in another way, give to them. So, really being intentional about supporting and following other people, and that way you're building relationships, right? So you're going to build relationships between people that will consume your work. But I also want to offer everybody to think about building relationships with the thought leaders with whom you'd love to partner, with whom you'd love to have blurb your book. Go be generous. Spend the first few months you're on Substack when you don't have a big audience yet, being generous to the people that do, that you admire and respect, support their work. We can call it restacking, right, Sophia? Is that the right term? Okay.
Definitely.
So, and yes, Sophia has some free trainings about Substack. Sophia also, has done paid trainings for people on Substack. We'll be doing more. I will gift you all a more comprehensive how to if you are willing to share our page with people in your world and come subscribe for free, right? 100%. Yeah. And you might get asked to be interviewed on someone else's, like some of you are saying, for sure. Sophia and I have featured other people on our Substacks and restacked others' posts. So, any parting words, Sophia? Anything else you want to give to everyone to have us be fired up to either start or scale our Substacks this week?
I love it. I definitely resonate with what you said, and I just want to emphasize what you're saying about this being a great platform for thought leaders because I, especially since working with you and TLA, have gotten increasingly clear on my mission statement, and I have revised my about section on my page like every 6 months basically, and just gotten more clear. So I encourage people to start writing, start sharing, and then allow yourself to evolve and update. And it's a wonderful place for sharing your mission, your passion, your purpose out in the world, the way that you want to serve. And I love being generous on that platform because I'm like, this is how I want to give. I want to share my stories and lessons and share embodiment practices. And I'm really excited about speaking more this summer and this spring so that I can, reach a wider audience, especially the younger people that I want to
Yeah.
serve. And so I'm so glad that it's a growing platform and everyone knows about it now, whereas like 3 years ago, people didn't know about it as much. But it's definitely a hub for, like you said, valuable connections, feedback. I encourage engagement, commenting, restacking, reposting. I also love seeing like your posts and Amy's posts, Amy
Yeah.
Fortney's posts on Substack, and I reshare a lot of hers. I learn so much through what I read on Substack. I also get
Mhm.
inspired by other creators, and then I'm doing my own unique thing. So I love
Yes.
that you can see that everyone's doing something unique, and beautiful and
Yeah.
purpose driven. It's just lovely.
So thank you for being with us, Sophia. We're excited about the novel. Excited since I'm one of your paid subscribers, I'll get to read the serialized version, which will be really fun. And
Mhm.
please do join us on our Substacks so that you can just continue to see what we're doing. And then, since it sounds like we have some interest, and those of you on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, please put in the comments if you would like more on this conversation. It's a big topic. There's a lot to it. We could spend a whole 6 months just doing, Substack. So we will keep bringing you content if there's interest, and I know already just from this conversation that there is. So thank you, Sophia, and let's all do one action on Substack if this is calling to you. So whether that's setting up your page, could be your big action for the week. If you already have a Substack, is it reaching out and resharing someone else's that you'd like to collaborate with? Is it turning on the voice feature, which some of you are going to go do right now? I know. And let's do one little step at a time so that it's fun, not overwhelming, and that we enjoy ourselves and enjoy because that community is there to be enjoyed and as a almost a oasis from some of the things happening on other platforms. That's how I feel about it. So awesome job. We will see you all next time and have a great week.